It's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P the I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, for the many comes the all, and the all is one. So I'm jumping on pretty early for a quick live. I don't expect many people to pop in. Having my morning coffee, finish my morning meditation. I wanted to hop on and do this quick video on the February energy report. The reason why I'm doing this video, I meant to get this out a couple of days ago, but there's been so many things going on that I've been doing other videos for other purposes. So today we're going to go in and do a little bit of information on what I'm picking up for this month's February energy report. So the first thing that I do want to share and get into what I'm picking up is the overall theme for February. And that really seems to be questions or issues or really stepping into and understanding our worthiness. So this is what I'm painting as the overall overarching theme for this particular month. We are going to be dealing with issues of worthiness, coming to terms with our own worthiness, looking at the worthiness of the things around us, whether or not they actually are even deserving to be in our energy, in our field at this time. But primarily looking at ourselves, looking at the things that trigger us, the things that causing up whatever kind of emotional spikes, and really discerning what that means, what's lying behind that. And what's coming up is that what's really lying behind a lot of we're going to be facing is these issues and questions of worthiness, our own worth and our own ability, our own capability to step into the world and the life that we wish to create. That said, what that's going to look like on a practical sense, we are just coming through a time of a lot of shadow work. People have been doing a lot of clearing. A lot of individuals. Does not mean that we are completely through with the shadow work, and I understand a lot of people are tired of that. But collectively, we still got so much crap and crud that needs to come up and be removed, And so all of that is still rising to the surface collectively. We're at a bit of a lull. We're in this kind of momentary standstill, and this is partially to do with the energy of the Mercury retrograde. When you look to a retrograde, you look up to the sky, it almost looks like the traveling, the direction that particular celestial body is taking is paused. It looks like it's going in reverse for a bit. This is why they call it retrograde. But what's happening is an optical illusion, right? If you study astronomy and you study astrophysics, you'll understand that that's actually an optical illusion. It's not actually going backwards. But from the physical perspective, from our perspective, it looks like it paused. It looks like it's going a little bit backwards. And during this time, what the energy always typically is really a stopping point. It's really a chance for you to take a pause, take a break. A lot of us will tend to blame things not working out, things not going right. We'll blame that on Mercury retrograde. Oh, technology's not working. Oh, I was trying to create something. I was trying to get busy and do this, and now everything fell apart. The reason why that is because during the retrograde, it's a time for pause. Just like the planet looks like it's paused in the sky, and it almost looks like it's reversing, but it's not really reversing. For us, that means it's a time for pause. And that reversal is more of a time for looking back, more of a time to assimilate the knowledge, the information, the lessons that we just recently came through, right? So a lot of times when we are in Mercury retrograde and we're so busy trying to push forward, we hit these blocks because Mercury retrograde is not about pushing forward. Mercury retrograde is always about pause and reflection. And so at this time, coming through this sphere where we've been doing individually a lot of shadow work and we've been doing collectively a lot of shadow work, this time calls for us to really look at the lessons we've just come through and the lessons that we have been learning and figuring out how to integrate that into our day-to-day lives. As we do so, this is going to change everything in us internally. This is going to help us to either come closer to understanding our own true innate worthiness, our own true innate value. And with that, we can then move forward, taking more proactive actions to see the world change in the ways that we wish to change it. But until we do, As long as our sense of worthiness, our sense of worth is askew, is misled or misaligned, we're always going to be kind of off kilter. So the invitation for this particular month is going to be facing these questions of worthiness, facing these issues around us, and really choosing into our own innate knowing and understanding of our worthiness. And that sounds great. Stepping into worthiness sounds great, but it can be a little bit difficult in the day-to-day, right? Because although I'm not saying this is a time for shadow work, we are still in that phase, and the shadow work is going to be progressive throughout this year. Understand, we're going to continue to clear up muck and continue to have to face these questions, continue to have to look at these triggers and these stimuli that's really pushing us to really see more of our own truth. But what I'm talking about specifically is that in this time, coming off this current phase of huge shadow work integration that we've been doing, at this time, really, we're taking that pause, Mercury retrograde, reflecting on those lessons, integrating them into ourselves, and then moving forward in these newer understandings of our own worthiness. And if you haven't gotten there yet, you're going to be revisited by more shadow work. You're going to be revisited by more lessons that you need to integrate until you can stand firm and stand still in your power. Once you're there, you'll be able to move forward from those progressive shadow lessons, right? But in the meantime, as we still deal with that, until we actually own whatever lessons have been coming to us through our personal individual shadow work, just like as a society, we need to own whatever lessons is coming to us in our collective shadow work, right? If you look here in the West, we got all sorts of political issues, right? You look across the world, there's a pandemic going. There's all sorts of issues in the healthcare system. There's all sorts of issues financially. All of these things come up, forcing us collectively to look at the crap we need to deal with and the messes we need to clean up. Same thing for our individual lives. The triggers, the messes that come up, those things that kind of cause us to grind our gears a little bit, those are invitations and lessons for us to see what things are we going to need to be cleared up. And hopefully, if you've been riding the wave as it's been occurring, you've already been doing this work. And as shadow work is progressive, things will always come up. Sometimes the same lessons revisit as a spiral, getting tighter and tighter. And so with that, if you're doing your work, you're moving into this phase where you're starting to understand more of your innate worthiness, and you're starting to own that. You're starting to reclaim that power. That's going to be the invitation for this month, is to really look at all of the things around you. What are you choosing into, and whether or not you feel worthy of that? Because for the things we feel worthy, for the things we want, we say we want, we have to be certain expressions of that, right? If you want abundance, you have to find that within. But if you don't feel worthy of abundance, you're never going to find that within, right? So that's the general point, is that all of these lessons have been coming on us. All of this shadow work has been coming for us to really get clear in these aspects of ourselves that we need to find within. That way we can truly step into our worthiness. So that's the general theme for the month, is really coming to terms and understanding the underlying questions behind the backgrounds. It's going to be an emotional month, right? Again, we are at this pause. We're at a little bit of a standstill, but the energies are still coming in high vibrationally, high octane, not even high vibration, because there's low, dense energies coming in on the planet as well. With that said, there's going to be a lot of popping, spiking, ups and downs. You can even watch the Schumann resonance. You'll see it for yourself. With that happening, it's going to cause a lot of emotional instability within the vessels. We're going to be feeling a lot of ups and downs emotionally this month. It's not a month for you to run off and jump into whatever based off of emotional reaction. This is a time for that reflection and that really owning and discerning what our worthiness is. Looking at what these triggers and the stimuli are causing within us, so that we can see the truth behind that. And so that we can then start to really opt into the things that we say or we believe we truly want. So ultimately, it's a month where we're coming into understanding our own worthiness. but there's still some lingering shadow points that some of us are going to have to work through in order to get to that place. Some of us have already done some work to get to that place in certain areas of our lives, and it's really going to be just taking up that mantle and really stepping into it, owning it more. It is a time for pause and reflection, not so much worrying about momentum of creation, but looking back at the lessons and the transits that we've come through and understanding why we've gone through all of these issues and why we face all of these shadows thus far. Know that the month emotionally will be volatile, ups and downs. This is all about maintaining your balance through the ups and downs, not being reactionary, being balanced, reflecting on that energy, why it's with us, what's the lesson, and then coming into full knowing of our worthiness. As you do that, pick up that torch and run. Right? Once you understand your worthiness and once you understand the things around you, whether this particular person in my life is even worthy of being in my life, whether I'm worthy of having that particular situation, once you get clear in these energies, you're going to be able to run forward with more momentum and with more power. That actual power, that actual energy, that actual guard spark that's going to really light the way for creating the next steps for you. So this is the particular energy report. I wanted to get it out yesterday. I apologize for that, but I'll be uploading this video to the YouTube.